Maestro?
Yeah.
There's no Seder like our Seder. There's no Seder I know. Everything about it is halachic. Nothing that the Torah won't allow. Listen how we read the whole Haggadah. It's all in Hebrew, cause we know how.
Yeah,
There's no Seder like our Seder. We tell a tale that's a swell. Moses took the people out into the heat. They baked the matzah while on their feet. Now isn't that a story that just can't be beat? Let's go on with the show. Let's go on with the show.
I forgot about the harmony thing.
Welcome. We are so glad that you're joining us for our Seder. And you don't have to ask this year, why is this night different from all other nights? This is an unusual year. And we want you to join in the Seder, and online you'll find the Haggadah that we're using. It's called A Different Night, and you can scroll through it as we go through the Seder this evening. But I thought I'd start with a song, because the Chazan's going to be singing most of the night, but I thought I'd offer one.
I insisted.
Yes, you did. From Les Miserables. Do you hear our people sing, singing Dayenu and Amen, telling the story of a people who will not be slaves again, from the shank bone to the wine. There, down to the final matzah crumbs, there is a night about to start when Seder comes.
Seder comes.
Will you join our Seder now and have a matzah ball with us? We'll tell the tale of how we got out of slavery. We're happy tonight that we all have the right to be free. Will you drink some kosher wine, eat some matzah and maror? We will talk of Hebrews dancing on a dry and distant shore. We'll pray for Elijah to come when we open the door. We'll pray for Elijah to come. Open the door.
Open the door.
I think I'll stay with my day job.
You needed a choir. Beautiful.
This is an ordered meal. 15 steps of the Seder. And the reality is that in a time of upheaval, a disordered time, our ritual offers us order. Chazan, you want to share some different tunes about the order?
Oh, the order. Yes, we have a lot of beautiful tunes to the order of the Haggadah. So I was thinking we would sing a Sephardic one that I heard with Yoram Gaon, a beautiful, beautiful melody. And then we'll do the one that you really know, and I expect you guys to sing, right? Okay.
I'm ready.
Okay. So this is the Sephardic one that I really, really like. And does it end there? Oh, beautiful. Okay.
And if you're following in the Haggadah, we're on page 6.
Kadesh urechatz karepas yachatz magid rochetza Motzi matzah maror korech shulechan orech tzafun barech halel nirtzah.
It's so beautiful.
Isn't that pretty? It's almost like wants to put you to sleep. So let's do ours. That does not.
Okay, I'm ready.
Kadesh urchatz karpas yachatz magid rochza motzi matzah maror korech shulchan orech safun barech Hallel nirtzah.
We begin with Kiddush. It's the first of 4 cups of wine. And in our tradition, Each of the cups stands for a different aspect of redemption. Now, in your Seder, we just ask you to join with us for the Borei Pri Hagafen. But I want to remind everyone that Judaism offers us opportunities to elevate time, to make time different, to make time special, to make time holy. And Kiddush is the way that we announce this. And because there are 4 cups of wine, what I want to focus on are the redeemers this year. And so I want to dedicate the first cup of wine to the doctors, to the nurses, to all those who are on the front lines of healing. We raise up a cup of wine and we salute you and pray for your well-being and thank you for the work you're doing. Kiddush.
Kiddush. May I say a word?
Absolutely.
Good. First of all, the Ashkenazim usually all rise and they stand for Kiddush. The Sephardim don't.
Okay.
At least I don't. Maybe I made that up. I don't think so. All right, so the Kiddush is sitting down. The question I have for you is, what's the tune for the Kiddush? I mean, it's like asking, what's the tune for, Seder? Obviously, there are a lot of tunes, but specifically for the Kiddush, everybody knows it the way it's on Shabbat. Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam borei pri hagafen. Okay, but on Shalosh Regalim, Pesach, Shavuot, Sukkot, not necessarily in that order. Actually, it is that order. There's a different tune. And it's the same tune for all 3 holidays. So that's weird. And then we find out, because you go to shul all the time, obviously, that when we come to Akdamut on Shavuot, there is a specific tune for Akdamot, and everybody knows it, which is da 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 dum, ti da 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 dum. We call the we call all honorees that come up to the bima in that tune, and then the Akdamut itself is also. So why do we use it? Long story short, there was a gentleman who actually wrote the poem of Akdamut, and his name was Meir ben Yitzchak Nehorai. And he had a big fight with the Sanhedrin, that they didn't like what he said, they didn't like the way he said it, blah, 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 blah. Meanwhile, they accepted it, and when they finally did it, there was no music for it. So what music are you going to use? They said, let's use Akdamut. And it happened that it stuck for all 3 holidays.
Wow.
That's probably too long. But
That's lovely. I didn't know that.
yeah, that's what happened. So this is the tune that we use. So let's do it together. What page? Page 8. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'am v'romemanu mikol hashon v'kiddeshanu b'mitzvotav v'atiten lanu Adonai Eloheinu b'yava moadim l'simcha chagim uzmanim l'sason et yom chag ha'matzot hazeh זמן חירותנו מקרא קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים. מועדי קודשך, בשמחה וששון, הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני, מקדש ישראל והזמנים. Everyone sing with us. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. Traditionally, we lay down toward the left side because the rabbi will tell you in a second. Kondaton, good stuff, Yerushalayim. We lean to the left. In the earliest period, when Jews would lie on
divans and these couches. They would lie on their left side. They would free their right hand to dip at the table. And so this is how we do it, even though it might feel a little uncomfortable in our day, but that's the idea of it.
No, in our age, that's it. Actually, by the way, it was also a Roman and a Greek thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they used to have these parties, they called them to learn. So they learned all right. Anyhow, but when they drank, they always used to be here, and the young lady would come and put grapes in there. So the Jews kind of took a little bit of that by leaning left as well.
No question.
Okay, too much information.
Orchatz is the first washing. It'll be one of two washings. And I'm very aware of wearing gloves right now and how we focus on hand washing at this time. But in the case of the Seder, we are really creating a whole variety of questions to be asked. Mm-hmm. And normally we wash before we eat bread or challah on Shabbos. But today we're going to wash, or at least pretend we're washing, without a bracha as we prepare for karpas. And karpas is one of the elements of the Seder table, and it represents springtime. And traditionally, we dip it in salt water to remind us of the tears shed. And the symbolism speaks to us today in a very direct way. How many tears have been shed all over the world in the face of this coronavirus? And yet, outside, it's springtime. The world is blooming, and we are reminded that there is life, and life will go on, and we will come to a better day. And if we needed any proof of that, on Pesach, the moon is full. Each year, the moon is full. And we're reminded that we will yet find that light. So it's with that in mind that we take a little bit of the greens, and we prepare for the bracha. So you take a little bit of green and dip it into the salt water, which I'll give you some of this back.
I'll fight you.
All right, yeah. All right.
Got to fight for your karpas around here, boy.
Say the bracha together.
Yes.
It's in the middle of page 10.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri ha'adamah. Fascinating.
This is a lovely Seder plate that the Chazan and Debbie loaned us for this. And inside, there are 3 matzot. Normally on a Shabbat table, there are 2. But we add the third because these 3 matzot are not only representing the extra portion that Jews received when they went out of the land of Israel, but tonight, these 3 matzot represent the whole household of the people of Israel. The Kohanim, the Leviim, and the Israelim. All of us together. And on this Seder night, we are one world community as well. And tonight we think of people all over the world and our sacred partnership in humanity. And we also come together as a community. We draw out the middle matzah. And in so doing, we break it. And there are a whole variety of reasons for this, but the idea is that this is lechem oni. This is the bread of the poor. And a person who goes without food would more often than not eat their full portion, but save it for later. But this year, we are thinking about brokenness in the world. And it feels broken in many ways. But I want to suggest to you tonight that to say the world is broken is not Jewish. The Kutzker Rebbe once said that there's nothing more whole than a broken heart. And in our tradition, it is for us to repair the world. And there is much repair for us to do. But on this night, we're going to hide this for later. And the reality is that today some of the answers are hidden from us, but our tradition teaches that we have the tools and God has given us the resources to find the answer. So we're going to put this away. Oh, you do? Great. hope you'll I hope I'll find it. Perfect. I'll never find it there.
I think you would.
Moving on.
Yes, sir.
We tell the story. And tonight we are opening our homes, we are reaching out, and we are also aware that in this economic downturn, there are going to be lots and lots of people out there who are going to need help. It has to come from the government, but it also has to come from the people, and all of us are responsible. And so what we're going to do is we're going to continue on page 12 with Halachma.
You know this, so let's sing it together. Ready?
Halachma, halachma anya, tiachalu haftana, be'ara, be'ara de Mitzrayim, be'ara, be'ara de Mitzrayim, kol dichvin yeter ve'yichol, kol ditzrich yeter ve'yifsach, hashata Lishana haba be'ara Yisrael Hashata avde Lishana haba b'nei chori. This is the bread of poverty and persecution that our ancestors ate in the land of Egypt, as it says in the Torah. 7 days you shall eat matzot, the bread of poverty and persecution, so that you may remember that you were a slave in Egypt. Let all who are hungry come and eat. Let all who are in need come and share the Pesach meal. This year we are still here. Next year in the land of Israel. This year we are still slaves. Next year a free people. This is a night of questions. And when we think of the Manishtana, that is what we have. Questions that ask us about matzah, and questions that ask us about bitter herbs, and questions that ask us about dipping our vegetables, questions that ask us about reclining. But this year, I want to add a fifth question. On all other nights, we do not sit with gloves. On all other nights, we don't have to be isolated. On all other nights, we don't have to leave our homes with masks. But tonight is different. How will we change as a result of this pandemic? How can we change for the better as a society? Can each of us embrace our relationships more tightly and value them more? Can each of us be more careful with our health and how our health affects other people? Can we ensure that all people are cared for and that all people have medical care? Those are the questions that I would put together in the fifth question that needs to be asked. Chazan, why don't you lead us in the four questions and take us back to your yeshiva world.
The yeshiva world, yes. It was a wonderful time. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. You'll hear that a lot from yeshiva guys when they get older.
Did you just make that up?
I did.
Wow.
But it's very important because they had the tradition of the Eastern European tradition of everything, of Ashkenaz. And it's wonderful because we sang it in the same way that we learned. We learned the Gemara. You had a Gemara, you had a guy opposite you. Not today you wouldn't, but usually in those days. You could sit next to each other and you go, da 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 da. You learned like that. You learned because the music goes through your mind and it actually enters more than just saying, Manishtana da da. It's not the same. Manishtana, in the yeshiva trope, I'll call it, it's actually Eastern European stuff. מה נשתנה הלילה הזה מכל הלילות שבכל הלילות אנו אוכלים חמץ ומצה הלילה הזה כולו מצה היי דדדדדים בדדדדדם דדדדדדם. Now you're a yeshiva bacher. Okay, the other tune is the one everybody sings.
Okay.
Except there are two tunes, but Nishkefela. We'll skip the other one. We'll do the one from Israel.
מה נשתנה הלילה הזה מכל הלילות, מכל הלילות, page 14, שבכל הלילות אנו אוכלים חמץ ומצה, חמץ ומצה. הלילה הזה, כולו מצה. הלילה הזה, כולו מצה. שבכל הלילות אנו אוכלים שאר ירקות, שאר ירקות. הלילה הזה, מרור, מרור. הלילה הזה, מרור, מרור. שבכל הלילות אין אנו מטבילין אפילו פעם אחת, אפילו פעם אחת. הלילה הזה, שתי פעמים. הלילה הזה, שתי פעמים. שבכל הלילות אנו אוכלים בין יושבים ובין מסובים, בין יושבים ובין מסובים. הלילה הזה, כולו מסובין. הלילה הזה, כולו מסובין.
It is an ancient tradition in the Jewish world that you spill your first cup of wine all over your wife's beautiful tablecloth.
Shkach.
So I did my thing. I had to
All
do
right,
it.
the mitzvah has been fulfilled. The chiyuv is done.
It's a tradition in my house, yes.
In the Haggadah, there are actually two forms of slavery being talked about. The first form of slavery is physical slavery. We can't think about the spiritual if the physical is in pain. And so we focus on the chains, the physical chains, before we deal with the spiritual chains. And a wonderful way of doing that is through the singing of Avadim Hayinu on page 16.
Okay, everybody join me. Let's go. Avadim hayinu, hayinu, ata benechorin, benechorin. Avadim hayinu, ata benechorin. Avadim hayinu, ata benechorin, benechorin. You can do this 3 or 4 times, actually. It's good. It's fun.
Ata benechorin, benechorin.
Ani benechorin. Mashu.
We turn our attention to 5 rabbis in Bnei Brak, some of our greatest rabbis.
Yeah.
And they spent the whole night studying the Haggadah. Now you should know that these rabbis were actually very much involved in what was called the Bar Kokhba revolution. And these rabbis were not only telling the story of Moses, but they were also telling their story. And that's the goal. The goal is to go beyond Hasipur, the story, and move to Haggadah, to telling itself. And that's the name of the Haggadah, the book of the telling, not the story. It's not a fixed story. It's the telling. And the reality is that we tell the story in our own way each and every year. And we're all different. And there are 4 children, aren't there?
Oh, yes.
We depend on God.
I'm having a hard time.
That's okay. We acknowledge God's presence as part of the story. In fact, God is the main character of the story. Baruch HaMakom, Baruch Hu. Baruch Shenatan Torah Li'amo Yisrael, Baruch Hu. Blessed be God, blessed is He, blessed be the giver of the Torah to the people of Israel. Blessed be He. And there are 4 children. One wise, one wicked, one simple, and one who does not know how to ask. And in this particular Seder, in Haggadah I should say, I want to just mention to you that there are some really wonderful pictures, photographs, drawings, where the 4 children are portrayed. And I want you to, if you have this Haggadah, to take some time. You can turn this off for a moment and look through them. And I want you to imagine to yourself, if you had to pick, how would you portray the 4 children this year? Who is the wise child? Who is the rebellious child? Who is the simple child? And who's the one who wits not to ask? Who in our world today are those people, and how would you portray them in the Haggadah? The second form of slavery revolves around spiritual slavery. And the rabbis look to the example of Abraham's ancestry. And it says, Mitchila ovdei avodah zara hayu avotenu. In the beginning, our ancestors were idol worshippers, but now God has brought us near to Adonai. And not only does Abraham accept the covenant, but the people of Israel enter the same covenant as well. And we are the people who believe in a God who fulfills God's promises. Blessed is the one who keeps the promise to Israel. The Holy One, blessed be He. And we also believe, V'hi she'amda, that God, you will stand up for us. And normally when we sing this, V'hi she'amda, we're thinking really about anti-Semitism in the world and the physical enemies that we face, and those are very real. But this year, the world community itself faces an enemy, an illness. And so we pray that not only will God look out for our people, but God will look out for all humanity, and may we speedily find a cure. V'hi she'amda.
We raise our cups.
V'hi she'amda, v'hi she'amda, la'avoteinu v'lanu. V'hi she'amda, v'hi she'amda, la'avoteinu shelanu. Shebo echad bilvad, עמד עלינו לכלותנו, שלא אחד בלבד. עמד עלינו לכלותנו, אלא שבכל דור ודור עומדים עלינו לכלותנו. והקדוש ברוך הוא מצילנו מאדם. This promise has stood for our parents and for us in good stead. For not just one enemy has stood against us to wipe us out, but in every generation there have been those who have stood against us to wipe us out. Yet the Holy One, blessed be He, keeps on saving us from their hands. Story of Pesach, Arami Oved Avi. My father was a wandering Aramean. And this is the story in its most concise form, which comes from the book of Deuteronomy. My ancestor was a wandering Aramean. He descended to Egypt and resided there in small numbers. He became a nation great, powerful, and numerous. The Egyptians treated us badly. They persecuted us and put us under hard labor. We cried out to Adonai, the God of our ancestors. God heard our voice. God saw our persecution, our toil, and our oppression. God took us out from Egypt with a strong hand and an outstretched arm. With awesome power, signs, and wonders, God brought us to this place, gave us this land, a land of milk and honey. Now I have brought the first fruits of this soil, which you, God, gave to me. What follows in the Haggadah is a very precise midrashic analysis, and I would commend taking time to read them. But for now, we're going to turn our attention to the plagues, which you can find on page 46. Page 46. And the tradition is to take a little bit of drop of our joy. The wine represents the joy that we have. And amidst the suffering of the Egyptians, we take a little bit of that joy away from us. This year, we are suffering with so many different plagues. And we take a moment to reflect on that as we turn to page 46.
אלו 10 מכות שהביא הקדוש ברוך הוא על המצרים במצרים, ואלו הם. דם,
צפרדע, קינים, ערוב, דבר, שכין, ברד, ארבה, חושך,
מכת
בכורות. Just a note, in the Torah, when it talks about the plague of darkness, what our rabbis say, what the Torah tells us is that in the Israelite homes, people could see each other, but in the homes of the Egyptians, they could not. And what the rabbis go on to say is that the Israelites chose to see the faces of those around them. They didn't ignore them, they didn't make them faceless. They counted them as beings of value, being people created in the image of God. And this is our situation as well. Do we see each other as human beings? Do we see each other's faces? Do we relate to each other in that way? There is the darkness, but we have the power to cast light into this world as well.
Rabbi Yehuda?
Rabbi Yehuda created an abbreviation for the plagues. In a way, what he was trying to do was not only to create a mnemonic, but he was also condensing them to take away some of the pain, some of the destruction.
And that goes, Ditzah,
Adash, Yahav, Dayenu. It would have been enough for us. This year, we are away from our families in so many ways and trying to do Zoom and trying to connect with people. But we are doing it for all the right reasons, and it'll have to be enough for us this year. And let us be thankful for what we have. And Dayenu really speaks to all of our family traditions. But I know, Chazan, that this really speaks to you in a very, very personal way.
Well, it's just every time we get here, I think of my father and our best friend, David. And they used to sing this alone together. I mean, as a duet, because it was really Sephardic, boy, I'll tell you. I'm going to show you the page, the 2 pages. You shouldn't have these.
That's a Greek Haggadah, isn't it?
This is a Greek Haggadah. It was published in Thessaloniki, Salonika, back in the late 1900s. And it's a big seller because there are very few like it. It's in Ladino, in Hebrew, and in Ladino Hebrew.
Wow.
Yeah. It's got at least 3 languages. So this is from the Agadah of Sarajevo. Look how beautiful that is. This was an actual with gold, etc. It's really beautiful. It has a number of these in the book. I don't even know if you can buy it anymore, but I just wanted to show it to you quickly. All right, so I'm going to do it, not all of it, because you will get very bored. It's in Ladino, and the tune is not really a tune. It's kind of it's almost like it's like a Sephardic Yiddish. It's like a Sephardic a Sephardic school. You know, you're going down da 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 da. So this is what they would do instead. All right. Cuantos grandes buenos al Criador sobre nos. Si mos quitaba de Egipto y no hacían Jesús existía. Abastávanos, si hacían existía y no hacían sus dioses, abastávanos, si hacían sus dioses y no mataba a sus mayores, abastávanos, si mataba a sus mayores y no dávanos a sus haciendas, abastávanos. And going to the end. Si dábanos a la ley y no nos hacía entrar en tierra de Israel, abastávanos. Si nos hacía entrar de tierra de Israel y no fraguábamos a casa de su santuario, abastávanos.
It's all Greek to me.
It's not, actually it's Ladino. It's Spanish. Old Spanish.
Very good. Dayenu.
Okay, let's go. Kama malot tovot lamakom aleinu. אילו הוציאנו ממצרים ולא עשה בהם שבטים
דיינו.
אילו עשה בהם שבטים ולא עשה באלוהיהם ולא עשה באלוהיהם
דיינו.
אילו עשה באלוהיהם ולא הרג לבחוריהם דיינו. אילו הרג לבחוריהם ולא נתן לנו את ממונם ולא נתן לנו את ממונם
דיינו.
אילו נתן לנו את ממונם ולא קרא לנו את הים ולא קרא לנו את הים
דיינו.
דיינו, 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 דיינו. אילו קרא לנו את הים ולא העבירנו בתוכו בחריו ולא העבירנו בתוכו בחריו
דיינו.
אילו העבירנו בתוכו בחריו ולא שמע... Okay, here we go again. אילו העבירנו בתוכו בחריו ולא שקצרנו בתוכו ולא שקצרנו בתוכו
דיינו.
אילו שקצרנו בתוכו ולא סיפצקנו באים בואים בואים שונו ולא סיפצקנו באים בואים בואים שונו
דיינו.
Almost finished. Let's keep going. אילו סיפצקנו באים בואים שונו ולא הכילנו את המן ולא הכילנו את המן
דיינו.
אילו הכילנו את המן ולא נתן לנו את השבת ולא נתן לנו את השבת
דיינו.
אילו נתן לנו את השבת ולא קרבנו לפני ארסיני ולא קרבנו לפני ארסיני
דיינו.
Big ending! אילו קרבנו לפני ארסיני ולא נתן לנו את התורה ולא נתן לנו את התורה
דיינו.
That's it. אילו נתן לנו את התורה ולא הכניסנו לארץ ישראל ולא הכניסנו לארץ ישראל
דיינו.
אילו הכניסנו לארץ ישראל ולא בנה לנו את בית הבחירה ולא בנה לנו את בית הבחירה
דיינו.
היי! דיינו! 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 Big ending! דיינו! 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 Yeah.
That was beautiful. That was great. That was great.
It's fun.
Now you tell me, but Rabban Gamliel reminds us that you could fulfill the entire Seder in one sentence. Rabban Gamliel Haya Omer, he would say, Kol shelo amar shlosha devarim elu ba'Pesach lo yatsa yedei chovato ve'elu hen. Pesach, matzah, umaror. All who have not explained the significance of three things during the Pesach Seder have not yet fulfilled their duty. The three are the Pesach lamb, the matzah, and the maror. Now, how would you do it as a Sfarad?
Well, you know, the
Sephardi.
Yeah, the Sephardim are very sort of quiet and backward. So they do things a little bit differently. This one is done because by this time, first of all, you have to say these three words. Pesach, matzah, maror. Very important. You don't say that, you're dead. All right, because you did this whole Haggadah, and you didn't make, you didn't get your.
So why do we have Pesach? Why do we eat the Pesach?
Ich weiß nicht. All I can tell you is that what
about
they do,
the matzah?
They say these three words, Pesach, matzah, maror, but they do it in a way that you can't mistake that they said it. Okay?
Okay.
It goes like this: Pesach, matzah, maror. Pesach, matzah, maror. Pesach, matzah, maror. Did you hear that?
Did you say something? So why do we eat the Pesach?
Why not?
Why not? To remind ourselves that God passed over our ancestors' houses in Egypt at this very hour, on this very date. And what was put on the doorpost? The blood of the Pesach. And the meal was revolved around the Pesach. And why matzah? To remind us that the Israelites had to rush to leave. They didn't have time for the dough to rise. And why the maror? To remind us of how the Egyptians embittered our lives. And this is the story we tell in every generation, page 54.
בכל דור ודור חייב אדם לראות את עצמו כאילו הוא יצא ממצרים, שנאמר והגדת לבנך ביום ההוא לאמור בעבור זה עשה אדוני לי בצאתי ממצרים.
In every generation, one is obliged to see oneself as one who personally went out from Egypt, just as it says, "You shall tell your son on that very day, it is because of this that God did for me when I went out from Egypt." Now, if that isn't a reason for psalms of praise and song, I don't know what is. So let's turn in our Haggadot to one of the psalms in Hallel, page 57. B'tzeit Yisrael.
Okay, we do this. Sorry, I'm a Sephardi. I won't. How long do I have? Come on, we'll do it in Sephardi.
So uplifting.
We do it in shul all the time.
I do.
בצאת ישראל ממצרים, בית יעקב מים לועז. בצאת ישראל ממצרים, בית יעקב מים לועז. הייתה יהודה לקודשו ישראל, ממשלותיו הים רע וינוס הירדן ייסוב לאחור ההרים רקדו חיילים גבעות כבני צאן. We'll go back to the Ashkenaz.
All right.
Board. Here we go.
Not bored.
מלך הים kitanu הירדן תיסוב לאחור ההרים תרקדו חיילים גבעות כבני צאן מלפני אדם כולי הארץ מלפני אלוה יעקב ההופכי הצור אגמיים חלמיש למיינו מים.
Okay, we're going to raise up a second cup of wine. We've filled our glasses, and we dedicate this second cup to a second set of redeemers. Those are first responders, those are police, those are fire people, those are people who are working in grocery stores, pharmacists, people who are working to keep us all going and risking themselves each and every day. We raise this cup to you and pray for your safety.
Baruch atah Adonai Go'al Yisrael, Baruch atah Adonai
Eloheinu melech haolam,
Borei pri hagafen.
This will be the time for the second washing, the washing with a bracha. So I'll ask you to wash at your homes and recite the bracha with me. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al nitilat yadayim.
See, we had no water, so I did it with wine. I hope that's okay. It's the second time today.
All right. So now we say the brachot over eating matzah.
You want to eat some?
I would. I'm going to get some for you.
No, don't touch my mouth. You can touch your mouth. Well, it doesn't matter. Hi, come on. Which one, Rabbi? The bottom?
Bottom would be great. Oh, no, thank you. It's not a big enough piece.
Well, pardon. Hineni
Mukhanum zuman, hineni mukhanum zuman, hineni mukhanum zuman, kayim mitzvot achilcha.
לקיים מצוות אכילת מצה, לקיים מצוות אכילת מצה. ברוך אתה
Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al achilat matzah. Now we turn our attention to maror. Sephardic Jews will use many things from maror. One is romaine lettuce.
Yes. הנני מוכן מזונו לקיים מצוות אכילת מרור.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו על אכילת מרור. And finally, before our meal, we turn our attention to the Hillel sandwich. And this idea of korech, of fulfilling a verse in the Torah, which says, you shall eat it, that meaning the Pesach offering, matzah and maror together. Yachluhu, you'll eat them together. And so the tradition is, if in it,
in there too.
Right, thank you. The tradition is to put some charoset and some of the romaine. And in the days of Hillel, he was actually putting the Pesach sacrifice in the middle. But what I want to suggest to you is that it's a reminder that life is rarely what we think it's going to be, and life can be really messy. But the joy is in bringing things together and finding meaning in the moment. And this is what Hillel's doing. So why don't you lead us, Chazan? We're on page 62.
זכר למקדש כהלל, כן עשה הלל בזמן שבית המקדש היה קיים, היה כורך פסח מצה ומרור, ואוכל ביחד, לקיים אשר נאמר, על מצות ומרורים יאכלו.
In memory of Pesach in the temple as Hillel used to celebrate it.
Yes, of course, that's the Ashkenazic way. Now, Sephardim will do it very much same until the last line. When we go, Al matzot umerorim yochlu. It's childish, but you know what?
It's great.
Childish.
It's wonderful. It's joyous.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is the secret.
Yeah,
But the Sephardim can teach Ashkenazim along the way as well. Well, I hope you've enjoyed your meal. We're going to turn our attention to Birkat HaMazon. We're going to abbreviate it. We'll have the beginning of Birkat HaMazon and then the special paragraph Ya'alev V'Yavo for the celebration of this Yom Tov. Shir Hamala B'Shuv Adonai Et Shivat Zion Hayinu Kecholmi Az Yamale Schok Binu Ul Shonenu Rina Az Yomru V'Goyim Higdil Adonai Lasot Imele Higdil Adonai Lasot Imanu Hayinu Samechim Shuv Adonai et shiviteinu ka'afikim ba'negev hazorim bedima beherina yiksoru haloch yelechu v'achol no say meshech hazara Yavo verina no say alu. Please join in the Mizuman. We're on page 65. Yehi Shem Adonai Mevorach me'ata v'ad olam.
Shem Adonai Mevorach me'ata v'ad olam. Birshut harav maranan rabanan v'rabotai nevarech she'achalnu mishelo.
Baruch Adonai she'achalnu mishelo tuvo chayinu.
If there are 10 people there, you say the Eloheinu. Baruch Eloheinu she'achalnu mishelo uvtuvo chayinu.
Baruch u'baruch shemo Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Hazan et haolam kulo betuvo bechen bechesed uvrachamim Unoten lechem lechol basar ki leolam chasto uvtuvo agadol Tami lo chasalanu mal leolam va'ed avur shemo agadol kilazanu farnes lakol umetiv lakol umechin mazon lechol briotav asher bara baruch atah Adonai Hazan et hakol. We continue on page 66.
Eloheinu v'Eloi avoteinu ya'aleh v'yavo v'yagia v'yira'eh v'yiratze v'yishama v'yipaked v'yizacher zichronenu figdonenu v'zichron avoteinu v'zichron Mashiach ben David avdecha v'zichron Yerushalayim ir kodshecha וזיכרון כל עמך בית ישראל לפניך, לפלטה לטובה לכם לחסד ולרחמים, לחיים ולשלום, ביום חג המצות הזה. זוכרנו אדון אלוהינו בו לטובה,
אמן.
ופוקדנו בו לברכה,
אמן.
ויושיענו בו לחיים,
אמן.
על ישוע ורחמים, כוס וחננו ורחם עלינו ויושיענו, כי אליך עינינו, כי אל מלך חנון ורחום אתה, ובני ירושלים ירחם.
קודש במהרה בימינו, ברוך אתה אדוני, בונה ורחמיו, ירושלים, אמן. עושה שלום ממרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום על כל ישראל ויאמרו amen. We pour a little bit more wine in as we come to the third glass of wine, and here we turn our attention to other redeemers in our society. The scientists and all those working 24 hours a day around the world to find a cure for the coronavirus. May they succeed soon and save as many lives as possible. Page 67.
הנני מוכן ומזומן לקיים מצוות כוס שלישי של 4 כוסות.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Opening the door for Elijah is a statement that we believe in tomorrow, that we believe that light will come from darkness, and we believe that a new age is in the offing. And so to introduce this opportunity to welcome Elijah into our midst, we have a special song, don't we?
I hope so.
There you go.
Thank you, sir. This is a tradition, by the way, that started not very long ago.
Thanks to Leonard Bernstein.
That's right. Elijah, I just saw the prophet Elijah, and suddenly that name will never sound the same to me. Elijah, he came to our Seder. Elijah, he had his cup of wine, but could not stay to dine this year. Elijah, for your message all Jews are waiting, that the times come for peace and not hating. Elijah, next year we'll be waiting. Elijah.
That was great. There is a custom that I'd like to invite you to join me in, and that is that rather than fill the cup of Elijah, that we take some of the wine of our cup and put it together in this cup for Elijah the prophet. Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishbi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu Hagiladi.
Come in, Elijah.
Bimera ve'amenu yavo eleinu Imashiach ben David Imashiach ben David. There is something that I enjoy reading that comes from a more modern source. And it speaks about righteous Gentiles. Pour out your love on the nations who have known you and on the kingdoms who call upon your name. For they show loving kindness to the seed of Jacob, and they defend your people Israel from those who would devour them alive. May they live to see the sukkah of peace spread over your chosen ones and to participate in the joy of our nation. And now, you can be seated. And it's time for the fourth cup of wine.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah. And for the fourth cup, the redeemers that I'd like to think about are the everyday people who are doing extraordinary things, the people who, the newspaper deliverer who is buying food for an elderly customers. People around the world who are doing acts of kindness, extraordinary things for other people, showing the best of humanity at the most challenging of times and inspiring us, each of us, to act as well. So with that in mind, we raise up the fourth cup of wine. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagafen. If it's the second night of Passover, as you're watching this, it's customary to count the Omer. And what we're really doing is we're counting the days to Shavuot. And in that vein, what we're really thinking about is how the Jewish people came from a period of, from the depths of their despair and raised themselves up in 49 days to stand at Sinai. And in a very real way, it tells us that we have the power to raise us up, to walk taller, to walk higher, and to ascend. And so with that in mind, we count the first day of Sfirat HaOmer. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al Sfirat HaOmer.
Amen.
Hayom, Yom Echad LaOmer. Today is the first day of the counting of the Omer. How about some singing? How about Adir Hu? We're on page 75.
I'm ready. Okay, this is the song that says it's Passover, because we use it for many other things, including the Hallel, right? So,
Adirhu, Yivne Beita Bekarov, Bimera, Yameinu Bekarov, El Bnei Beitcha Bekarov, Bachurhu, Gadolhu, Dagulhu, Yivne Beita Bekarov, Bimera, Yameinu Bekarov, El Bnei Beitcha Bekarov.
Let's go to Rachum at the bottom of the page.
Rachumhu, Gadayhu, Tafkidhu, Yivne Beita Bekarov, Bimera, V'yameinu Bekarov, El Bnei Beitcha Bekarov.
Yes. Chad Gadya is a very, very fascinating thing, and if you go study it with a rabbi, believe me, it can take an hour, not because of you, because it's so much to say about the thing, it's amazing. All I can tell you are the simple things, which is, it's an Aramaic poem, consists of 10 stanzas sung at the conclusion, of course. Syrian and Moroccan Jewry often sing it in Arabic, because it's their language. Okay? And the Judeo-Spanish Sephardim sing it in Ladino and Hebrew, while Ashkenazim and the Spanish-Portuguese communities sing it in the original Aramaic. The oldest printed example of this poem is in the Haggadah from Prague in 1590. If you want to see it, you have to ask Steve Derschlag, our good friend Stephen Derschlag. Despite the fact that this amusing and beloved poem was kept to the end of the Seder to entice people, especially children, to stay up to the end, there are also opinions that say incorporating an allegorical poem with so many hidden and some not so hidden meanings leads to interpretation and extends the discussion of the Exodus, which is the mitzvahs, to extend the story for as long as you can. It doesn't happen at my house. I'm sorry to say, I'd love it but even I'm tired at that point. Okay, so let's sing this beautiful thing. Shall I do a couple of stanzas in Ladino like we used to do in my house?
I love that.
It's a beautiful piece. It's a beautiful thing. It's kind of it's more recitative. You're speaking it. You're not more than singing it.
We are on page 82.
Yeah. Unless you're in Ladino, in which case you're nowhere. Here we go, except in this page. Un cavretico que lo mercó mi padre por dos azim. Yes, we know what that means. Here we go. Un cavretico que lo mercó mi padre por dos levanim, y vino el gato y se comió el cabrito que lo mercó mi padre por dos levanim, y vino el perro y mudrió al gato que se comió el cabrito que lo mercó mi padre por dos levanim. And if you're not tired by the end of this thing, you go to the end where the Malach HaMavet is gone, or is being taken off. Let's do that again. Okay, we're doing the introduction to the last paragraph because I was totally wrong. So the last paragraph, of course, talks about the Malach HaMavet coming and killing the guy who killed the lamb who killed, etc. Okay, here we go. Last one. Y vino el Malach HaMavet y degolló al shoje, que degolló al buey, que se vivió agua, que mató el fuego, que me moca al vara, que ajarvó al perro, que mudrió al gato. I couldn't do it. Que se comió al cabrito, que lo mercó mi padre. Por dos levanim.
That's beautiful. Let's try the traditional Chad Gadya.
That would be
let's do a couple of stanzas, and then we'll do the last one.
Oh, okay.
Chad Gadya, Dizavina Babis Rezuzeh, Chad Gadya. Yasa Shunra Yachol Lazavina Babis Rezuzeh, Chad Gadya. Yata Chalba Nashan Junal Nachol Gadya. Tizavina babizre zuze chad gadya, chad gadya. Yata chutra v'hikalecha bal nashach lishna yakol tizavina babizre zuze chad gadya, chad. Let's go to the last one.
The last one. You want it in the same tune, Rabbi?
Yeah.
Here we go. Hold on. Al Hamav, it's going to be on this page. HaKadosh Baruch Hu. ואתה מלך ושוכד מלחמה ודשב כדשוכד דשוכד דתור דשוסו למיו דפופו לנורה דסורק לחוקו דהיגו לחבר נוש לשו דיום לגדו
אבא ביזרי זוזה חד גדיה חד גדיה. One of my very favorite Pesach moments with you is hearing you sing Moshe Oisher's Chad Gadya. Would you honor us with that?
I will, but I have had a lot of wine.
Even better. So don't hold back.
Chad Gadyo,
Chad Gadya, Chad Gadya, Chad Gadya.
Tizabinabo, 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 Chad Gadyo, Chad Gadyo, Prip Pip, Davalibinabo, Tizabinabo, Tizabinabo, Chad Gadyo, Chad Gadyo, Chad Gadyo, Chad Gadyo.
Chad Gadya, 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 Chad. Chad Gadya, 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 Chad Gadya,
ושוחט למלוך המובס תשב לשוחט תשופסו לתוזרו תשופסו למיו דשוחט לסורו דשופסו למיו לחופר נורו דסורף לחוטו כהיגו לחבר נושא לשונו דיוכל גריו
That was amazing. That was amazing.
You say?
It's a pleasure to be with you. And next year, God willing, we'll be without the gloves. We'll be able to sit closely together, and we'll be able to be with our loved ones next Pesach. And maybe even be in Yerushalayim. L'shana haba b'Yerushalayim. Lishana haba, Lishana haba, Lishana haba b'Yerushalayim. Lishana haba, Lishana haba, Lishana haba b'Yerushalayim. Lishana haba, Lishana haba b'Yerushalayim. Lishana haba, Lishana b'Yerushalayim. Chag Sameach.
Sameach! Okay.
I'm so glad you did that again. It was. I have to tell you clearly, to let you know sincerely, my people suffer so.
My people suffer so.
God has sent me to order, stop the bricks and the mortar, you must let my people go.
You must let my people go.
If you don't let them skedaddle, you'll have some real sick cattle, and a frog which will bite your toe.
A frog will bite your toe.
All the common folks and royals will be breaking out in boils. You must let my people go.
You must let my people go.
Enough.